The Dallas Cowboys have officially wrapped up both rookie minicamp and mandatory OTAs. And as the dust settles on the early offseason activities, a few names have started to rise above the rest, with new offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer now fully embedded in his role. The first stretch of practice sessions has provided a glimpse into what this team might become, and more importantly, who could be at the heart of it. Today, we're shining the spotlight on two players who are quietly turning heads and making other franchises look over with envy. These are the kinds of guys every team wishes they had, and the Cowboys got both. Let's start with one of the most intriguing pickups of the offseason, Ka'ir Elam. Once a first-round pick with sky-high expectations, Elam's time in Buffalo never truly took off. But talent like his doesn't just disappear. Sometimes it's about fit. Coaching, culture, scheme, they all matter. And in Dallas, Elam is finally in the right place at the right time. Since arriving, Elam has been a standout, not just among the new faces, but across the entire roster. His presence in the secondary has been felt immediately. One clip from practice says it all. Matched up in one-on-one coverage, he turns his back to the quarterback, a nightmare scenario for most corners, but Elam reads it perfectly. Back shoulder throw incoming. He runs the route better than the receiver, positions himself, and snags a goal line interception like he's been doing it for a decade. That's elite football instinct. Yes, there were whispers about effort issues back in Buffalo, but in Dallas, it's a different story. He's locked in, coaches and teammates are noticing. And let's be honest, the Cowboys got him for next to nothing. A fifth-round pick. Think about that. A former first-rounder with this level of upside brought in for almost free. And it's not just Elam. Look at the broader picture. This offseason, Dallas has been quietly stacking talent with high ceilings. Tyler Booker, Donovan Edwards, Shaven Revel, a trade for Jonathan Mingo, and even a late-round flyer on Jaden Blue. But the Elam move, that might end up being the biggest steal of them all. They didn't stop there. Another fifth-round pick turned into Joe Milton, a quarterback with a cannon for an arm and potential that's hard to ignore. The Cowboys have taken calculated risks, but if just one or two of these gambles pay off, the reward could be massive. In a league where every edge matters, Dallas might have just found theirs, not through splashy headlines, but through smart moves and quiet confidence. The Cowboys front office has been quietly executing one of the smartest strategies in the NFL, stockpiling high upside players for bargain prices. It's a low-risk, high-reward formula, and it's working. Let's take a closer look. Joe Milton brings elite arm strength and raw talent to the quarterback room. But the Cowboys didn't stop there. They added former first-rounders like Kenneth Murray, Peyton Turner, and Jack Sanborn, all of whom were once top-tier prospects who, for various reasons, didn't hit their ceiling elsewhere. Yet, here they are, now wearing the star, ready for a fresh start. That's the pattern. Former first-round talents coming in for cheap. Names like Komu Grugier-Hill Casper, Andrew Booth, and of course, Ka'ir Elam. They're stacking the roster with players who have something to prove and the tools to do it. And Elam, he's becoming the embodiment of that vision. According to recent local reports, Elam has not only held his own during team activities, he's thriving. Since OTAs and minicamp began, Elam has taken every single rep with the first team defense. That alone speaks volumes. But the numbers back it up. He's registered a pass breakup in all 5 sessions so far and nearly came away with picks in each of the last 2 practices. What makes that even more impressive is the coaching directive. Defensive backs have largely been told to pull off during drills. Still, Elam's making plays. And it's not just about interceptions. It's about footwork, timing, anticipation, and speed. Cowboys coaches have been tracking player movement closely. As OC Brian Schottenheimer noted, Elam is consistently among the fastest defenders on the field, both pre-snap and post-snap. His explosiveness is matching his instincts. That's the kind of blend you need in a top-tier cornerback. Look, no one's crowning him just yet. He may not turn into the next great Dallas defensive back, but the potential is undeniable. Coming out of college, that Pro Bowl ceiling was real, and it hasn't vanished. It just needed the right environment to rise again. And Dallas might be exactly that. We're not done yet. There's one more name that's quietly turning heads during camp. Another under-the-radar move that could pay off in a big way. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about a name that's gaining quiet momentum, Joe Milton. Coming out of college, his raw talent was undeniable. A cannon for an arm, elite physical traits, and a ceiling that had scouts whispering about the next big thing. But somehow, he slipped in the draft. The league overlooked him. The Cowboys didn't. And now, Milton is starting to turn heads for all the right reasons. In preseason action, he showed flashes that can't be ignored. On one play, he baited the safeties with a pump fake to the right, scanned the field, then stepped up in the pocket with perfect awareness. He launched a strike, threading the needle between defenders for a touchdown. That wasn't just talent. That was poise. That was quarterbacking at the pro level. Yes, it's early. Yes, it's just preseason. But this is exactly where future starters reveal themselves. Milton might not be a superstar today. He may not even start this year. But he's pushing the envelope. He's making the QB room better. And more importantly, he's applying pressure. That pressure now sits on the shoulders of Dak Prescott. Milton's presence isn't just about potential. It's a signal. If Prescott doesn't perform at a high level this season, his days in Dallas might be numbered. The Cowboys finally have someone behind him with the tools to step up. And that changes everything. This is how competition sharpens greatness. And whether or not Milton eventually takes the reins, his impact is already being felt. He's a spark in a room that needed one. Between Ka'ir Elam and Joe Milton, the Cowboys didn't just bring in depth, they pulled off two absolute steals. Two players with first-round traits. Two players the rest of the league had their eyes on. And Dallas got them both for next to nothing. That's how winning teams are built. Not just through big contracts and big headlines, but through smart moves, sharp scouting, and a belief in upside. The Cowboys made their move. Now let's see how far it takes them.